This conference will now be recorded.
All right, awesome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Matthew Welmers. I use he and they pronouns, and I am the annual conference chair for this year's conference. And this is our overview and prep session for all of our attendees.
As another driver or as a pedestrian, knowing that this car is doing something. Obviously, you could look in at.
Now, here's a quick overview of what we'll be going through today. Some tips before you leave for our conference, things you should know about at the conference, and finally, a checklist for you as you prepare to leave for the conference, which is a summary of most of all of this. This is me. Now, before you leave for oSTEM, we're going to be covering our conference schedule, the oSTEM career section on our website, and the Know Before You Go guide. So here's an overview of our Thursday and Friday schedule. If you were on our previous call back in October, this should look quite familiar to you. Here we've highlighted two events that are new this year. We are doing a conference kickoff lunch from 12 to 1 on Friday that will be provided by oSTEM and presented by Single Lane. And we will have an expo session Friday afternoon from 1 until 4. We also have a gender-affirming clothing swap after our dinner program Friday night, and we will have more information about that in a bit. Here's our Saturday and Sunday conference schedule overview. As you can see, we have moved our 5th programming block from its previous slot from 5:30 to 6:30 up from 2 to 2:30 before our second expo session. And our gala has been extended by half an hour to accommodate additional time for eating. Sunday, we will have no session programming. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead. You can finish your sentence. I just wanted to add one more thing.
Of course. Sunday, we will have no session program. Instead, we have a variety of long-form programs that we will cover in a bit.
Perfect. Thanks, Matthew. Can you go back to the last slide really quickly? I just wanted to mention that we do have some additional spots still open for the BAE Systems Tour. So if you are interested in participating as a part of that tour, it's only gone out to the student attendees, but if you are a professional attendee and would like to attend, I'm going to ping my email address in the box here, and you can send me an email and I can send you the form to fill out for that. And then I just ask if you are not talking, if you wouldn't mind going on mute, because we do have some background noise coming through. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you, Cortland. All right, now our full conference, abbreviated conference schedule is available on our website. If you go to the conference homepage and you click View the Schedule, and then download full conference schedule, it will take you to our full schedule preview. And you can use this to look at the programs that we will be having during our programming slots and to plan your conference experience. Now, in addition to a physical book that you'll receive at the conference, we are again this year using Guidebook. And Guidebook is an app that you can download from the App Store, and that will provide you with the most up-to-date information about the conference, including any last-minute program schedule changes, full list of sponsors and their location in the career fair. This is going to serve as a digital program book. And be sure to be on the lookout for an email from us that will have further instructions about accessing the guide as we finish it up. We're working very hard to make sure it looks nice and professional. Now, before you leave for Detroit, you should prepare a CV or resume if you're a student and upload it to oSTEM Careers. And so you can go prepare a CV and resume. You can then upload that resume to oSTEM Careers. You should note that an ostem.org account is required here. Under your dashboard, there's an Upload Your Resume link. If you click on that, it will take you to the Career Center, where we will also have job openings posted by our lovely sponsors.
And if you are one of the sponsors who has access to oSTEM careers to post open roles, since I know there's both students, professionals, and sponsors who are on today, make sure that you're going out there and having your team post those open roles so that the students have something to respond to.
Now, as we alluded to in our last call, we are this year publishing a guide to our sponsors at the Expo. This will allow you to do some research prior to attending the sessions. It's going to have information such as which sponsors are presenting in the booth. It's also going to have information about which majors they're looking for and the types of positions they're hiring for, such as full-time, internships, co-ops, etc. You can save time and be strategic by using this, and this will be available both on our apps and on the website. And as soon as that is available, you will probably be receiving an email about it. Now there's some additional online career resources available on ostem.org. And to access these, you go to our webpage, you click on Resources, then Member Resources. And here they are among the member resources, along with several other resources. And the link for that directly is right here. Now, here's some information about at the conference. I'm going to be talking about some of those programming changes we alluded to earlier. We're announcing our keynote speakers, going over our crisis and accommodation resources, meal logistics, some of the expo logistics for our sponsors, and last, our code of conduct and some conference etiquette. Now, the big program change is the second expo session Friday afternoon, which means that now in total, I believe we have 6 hours of expo time compared to 3 last year. And to accommodate that, we shifted our programming from a Friday, Saturday, Sunday style to a Friday, Saturday style. And so Friday, we've got our hackathon wrapping up in the morning. We have a new to the conference session, which will be very similar to this, but in person in Detroit. An Allenship in Motion, which is a program for our sponsors that requires pre-registration. Check the website if you'd like more information about that. We also have our boot camp and workshops that are going to be going on before lunch to help prepare attendees for the expo. And while the expo is going on, we will have a debrief room for individuals for whom the expo might become a bit much. We'll be able to find a place to talk to some of our D&I members that have been ASSIST certified. And lastly, after dinner on Friday, we have a gender-affirming clothing swap. This is a place where you can bring gender-affirming clothing and pick up gender-affirming clothing. And as part of our checklist later on, we are taking donations. And so if you feel free to pack your suitcase with some extra clothes you want to get rid of, and we will gladly put them up at our gender-affirming clothing swap. On Saturday, new programming this year is our Autism Neurodiversity Working Lunch, a description of which is in that abbreviated program schedule. Is This Really My Body is as well in that schedule. We also have our member mixers. This year, we have a mixer for our professionals who are not sponsor representatives, our graduate students, our sponsor representative meeting, and our regional breakouts for our students.
And I'll just caveat what you said, Matthew, around the professional member mixer. So for the sponsor rep meeting, we really only need 1 to 2 folks from each sponsoring organization to attend that meeting in Duluth. So for the rest of the folks who are part of our sponsor organizations, since some of you are bringing quite large teams, feel free to encourage them to attend the professional members or the graduate student or regional mixers, depending on what their level is, if they're undergraduate students, graduate students, or professionals, because I know there's a mix attending from different organizations.
And lastly, on Saturday, we have our evening social. It's a place for our members to gather after our gala and relax and unwind and celebrate the end of the conference. On Sunday, again, we have some select programming, including our Gender Affirmation Symposium, and our website schedule has a link with more information about who is going to be speaking there and the intent behind that symposium. Our Chapter Leader Summit for all of our chapter leaders, a mentorship summit for anyone who participated in our mentorship program this past year, and our Organizational Advisory Council will be having its annual meeting. So our keynote speakers this year are going to be Dr. Reese Malone, who is a sexologist and advocate from Canada and has done a lot of amazing work advocating for sexual education in Canada and creating a wide variety of resources for the Canadian government. And Jess Gilbo, who is a season 3 star of Queer Eye. We are very excited to have them both speak at our conference. Now, we also have crisis and accommodation resources. A staple of our conference is our quiet room, which is a calm space to have a moment to yourself. It is open from 8 until 10, and that will be Monet when you get to Detroit. We will also have accessibility accommodations. A lot of this will come in and be available at the registration desk. And so when you check in, if you do have an accommodation request, someone will be there to make sure that those requests are met. We also have crisis resources, including a 24-hour support line that will be posted in a variety of places, as well as on easy-to-carry wallet cards that we will have available at the registration desk. We have 8 staff members that are ASSIST certified, and those staff members will be identified with the ASSIST logo right here on their name badge, as well as a green border around the outside of their name badge. And lastly, our food menu will be available for those with dietary restrictions or other food-based accommodations. You can visit ostem.org/conference-menu to view our full conference menu and ingredient list. We are currently working on putting it up there. There is something there, but bear with us as we finalize and post that. As I alluded to earlier, we have some meal logistics I would like to discuss. Traditionally, we have 2 types of meals. Self-serve meals. They're meals that allow you like a boxed lunch or a breakfast buffet. All meals will have the ingredient list or allergens clearly indicated, and you serve yourself. For our plated meals, which includes our conference dinners this year, we're trying something new. We will have meal cards available at the door that will inform the server what meal you would like. The card does include a QR code and a link to the conference menu. And our choices for cards are animal protein, vegetable protein, and accommodations. And this is a mock-up of what those cards will look like. And you will place this at your seat, and as the server comes around to give you your dinner, you will exchange this card in for your dinner. And this is to make sure that anyone with accommodations or special needs or allergies is appropriately served. Now, a bit for our expo presenters. A quick reminder, our move-in time is Friday, November 15th from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Here you can see our 2 expo times, and then move-out will be Saturday from 6 to 10 p.m. And our exhibitor will have service center hours on Friday from 11 to 1 and Saturday from 1:30 to 10 p.m.
Just a quick note for those of you who do have interview booths, there will be some sponsors who are doing on-site interviews as a part of the conference, and those interview booths will be available for sponsors to use from 11 a.m. Friday until 10 p.m. Saturday, although I'd encourage you to use those spaces sparingly when we're in large meal programs or other large conflicting programs. So. But if you are a student, you just be aware that you may be invited to an on-site interview during the conference.
All right. Lastly, we would like to talk about our code of conduct. This is something that everyone who's registered to attend our conference has agreed to. And I will not read this out loud, but I will allow you to take time to read it.
I think the one thing that I will highlight in here, Matthew, is two things in particular. One is if you have any concerns, especially concerns around harassment, the Be Aware at ostem.org email address does go directly to myself, as well as a couple of folks who serve in a human resources capacity for oSTEM. So if you have a concern that you wish to raise, sending an email to that email address will get you a prompt response. Also, if we do find anyone who is violating any of these rules, the consequences of those could be up to and including expulsion from the conference without a refund. And for those student attendees, we would also be following up with your universities as well, and for professional attendees with your sponsor representatives for your organization. So we do take this seriously, and we want everyone to have a great and safe and hassle-free conference. And so, you know, myself and the rest of the team on the executive committee is committed to that.
We will also have some conference etiquette here. Some major points are to be respectful of others. A good way to be respectful is to introduce yourselves with your pronouns and then ask for the individual you're talking with their pronouns. So I have an example. Here's what I said when I started this meeting off. It's a great way to show that you validate the individual that you're talking with to and their gender expression. Restrooms at our conference, we will have all gender restrooms available throughout the conference. Our conference is spread over 3 floors, and every floor will have an all gender restroom. They will be indicated and marked with a sign that is covering up the traditional gendered sign. And it's important, we want to stress, don't assume that you know which bathroom is correct for anyone besides yourself. And lastly, as Cortland indicated, underage drinking or noise complaints. We do not tolerate anyone under 21 drinking alcohol. And we do ask that those of you who are over 21 drink so responsibly. And noise complaints received by the hotel will be escalated to the oSTEM leadership and the board. And lastly, before we get into questions, here is our conference checklist. So make sure you update your CV or resume and print out said copies of your updated resume or CV, and post your resume or CV on oSTEM Careers. Check out our sponsors in the Know Before You Go packet. Plan out your conference schedule with our online program schedule. Bring clean, gently used professional clothes for the gender affirming clothing swap. Download the guidebook app from your phone's app store. Pack a warm jacket. I looked at the forecast today, and Detroit is forecasted to have lows in the 28 degrees Fahrenheit and highs of 40. So make sure we dress warmly. Not that we'll be outside very often. Before traveling to Detroit, make sure you get a good night's sleep and get hype for our conference.
I think I'm going to need a little bit more than a jacket, but survive that weather.
Awesome. Thank you all for listening, and we will now take questions.
If you have any questions, feel free to come off of mute, or you can put your question in the chat box if you don't feel comfortable with your voice being recorded on the chat.
Hi, Matthew. This is Gary Conboy from Bayer Pharmaceuticals. I'm going to be one of the sponsors. Is the guidebook available now, or will it be available in the next few days?
So Guidebook is the platform that we're posting our digital guide to. And so you can go to your phone's app store and search for Guidebook and be able to download the app. And then as we finish developing our digital program book, we will post it to Guidebook and you can download it then. And so we're still finalizing it. It'll be ready probably by this weekend.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, if there aren't any other questions, Matthew, thank you for giving us an overview of some things that we need to know before we go. We will be sharing this recording with everyone who is attending the conference. So if there are folks from your team who couldn't attend today's call, then they'll have an opportunity to access this recording from our oSTEM on Air YouTube channel. Thanks, Matthew. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.